Anti-Afro Svengalis. I thought I'd come on here today. Today is still Sunday in my neck of the woods, and I want to address a revelation that came to light earlier today on Sunday. Yeah, it certainly appears to be the case that Fold Up Body is on probation. Now, I'm not going to say Fold Up Body's legal name here because it's contraband. But what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to give you the link to M3's channel where she and Grown Man address this issue. Check out the information that was presented during that live stream today, and you can get the details thus far. So let me say this. Anytime I brought information here, I've always given some sort of resource. There have been a few exceptions when the information wasn't mine. Now, in order for me to give updates, I would have to get quote approval from the person who provided the original information. If I'm not provided with updates, or the person has not requested or said, okay, go ahead and dispense this, I'm not going to give that information. So it doesn't matter to me what other people say about she put out false information. Let them think that. Nobody's going to force me to disclose anything I don't want to disclose. And you need to ask the other person who never provided any documentation, but says everybody is lying. So I think you all might know who I'm speaking about in that situation. But with this situation, FUB, Fold Up Body, Mona was the one who made up that name. I never said I made up that name. I stated I couldn't take credit for it. I don't take credit for things that don't originate from me. Now let's talk about the nature of the find and who made the find. We were not looking recently for FUB information, and I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. Both me and Rev G had a legal intervention that was extremely satisfying. He was threatened with arrest and a restraining order, and he stopped what he was doing. We were told, both of us, this is not a prediction. I would say it's inevitable that this person is going to face the long arm of the law. So I think it was appropriate that M3 and Grown Man made this revelation. Here's the other reason why I didn't cover FUB and all that garbage he was saying, all those false accusations and accusing people of crimes they had no evidence they committed, any more than I was going to listen to the garbage that Smoke was saying. I will not listen to that. I don't go over to those channels. People send clips, people say what they said, and that's it. Most of the time, I'm not going to even listen to the clip. If someone tells me, I'm like, what is it? I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to someone level false accusations and accuse people of committing the most atrocious crimes known to man. What I did do was will reality that I knew was going to happen. Here's what we're seeing right now. Time and time and time again, whenever something happened, it was reinforced by law enforcement. This person is going to cross the line. Me personally, it's satisfying to me that somebody has a legal intervention. I'm not about to put myself in any situation where I would spend 3 seconds in a jail cell for a demon or a goblin. Defending a child, yeah, I'll do that. I'll risk my life doing that, but I'm not going to go to freaking jail replicating what demons and goblins do. And for those who are not aware, false accusations absolutely can be on a criminal level. It's called criminal harassment. It goes beyond this free speech. If it's repetitive, if it's habitual, slanderous, that can rise to a criminal offense. I don't care what anybody says. You can't ever saddle me with a criminal offense because I'm responding to bullshit lies people have said about me. And I just decide I'm going to respond now. My responses are not actionable. The statements that people make, accusing people of being child molesters, accusing them, falsely accusing them. Let's make the distinction. Falsely accusing parents of molesting and abusing their children, even saying people are committing incest. That's slanderous, it's actionable, and potentially criminal. You know what you can do with that? You can get the attention put on you, because we're seeing more and more in these parts of YouTube how people are so quick to level these unsubstantiated false allegations against other people. And guess what ends up being true about them? That's why I say let them talk. When it gets to that level, let them talk. I sure as hell am not going to sit over there and listen to that shit. And TCTV, I don't know why you insist on thinking I was on your channel sitting there and listening to you for 4 and 5 hours while you were spreading all those lies and engaging in sexual harassment. No, people sent us to live streams and people told me what was said. Most of the time I would listen to about maybe 45 seconds and I would stop. But people were saying what you were saying. I'm not ever going to sit in a live stream and listen to someone vilify anybody that I care about or respect. There are freaks and demons and goblins and ghouls that really get off on that. And FUB is one of them. There's no way in hell I'd sit over there. Frankly, I don't see how anybody can sit up under that. No way am I going to sit up under that. I don't want that permeating me in any way, shape, or form. When we did this lawsuit response, or try to respond to this nonsensical lawsuit, the attorney was listening to all this stuff. You got to pay them to do that. I'm willing to pay a lawyer to listen to this shit. I'm not going to sit there and listen to it. But I willed reality. Reality was already coming, but in my mind, I willed reality. And it certainly appears that we have arrived at this point. We knew it was going to happen. Every single time a situation came up, every person I encountered in a position of authority stated, just as I have stated before, this person is going to be facing a judge. He's going to be standing tall before the man. He's going to be placed under some very strict restrictions, all of those things. And I knew that. This is a situation when you have someone like this, you have to let the person go ahead and do what they say they're going to do. And you document. When I know a person is very specifically trying to get me to respond, trying to yank my chain, that's their specific intent is to get a response, not a dialogue, not an understanding. They only want me to respond for their benefit. I pay them little or no attention. And if you want to think that I did respond to this person with any degree of significance, if only you knew how many videos this person posted about me, you rethink your disposition. But that's okay. We're here on YouTube and people are going to make comments. People are going to say what they're going to say. For the most part, we have free speech that is unrestricted, but there are people who go so far over the line. I'm going to let them go over the line. They're the ones who are going to face the consequences. This is a person who ran up in these YouTube streets saying that I'm Mexican, I have a white dad, I have a white husband, giving me foreclosures with the bank I never did business with. I mean, the person tried so hard, even got a hold of someone I've known for 30 plus years and tried to convince him I was someone that I wasn't. Oh, really? The desperation was through the roof. But that person was desperate to the point where he was facing legal consequences. All the person can do now is threaten the Rev G. I'm going to call your college again. Well, if he calls the college again and starts up what he was doing before, he's going to get arrested. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to whine. I'm not going to cry. If this person begins to start harassing businesses with false reports, that is the difference, people. We have a right to make reports that are truthful, reports that we believe someone is violating a law. We have every legal right to make the report. It's a criminal offense to make false accusations. Is a criminal offense of a false accusation on the same level as first-degree murder? No, but that doesn't mean it can't be prosecuted, and it doesn't mean it won't be prosecuted. But this is a person who thought because nothing really significant happened in terms of formality. A few things happened, but those few situations were enough to make this person wake up with these few situations. But the person just went into other spaces and started attacking other people. It's kept elevating and elevating and elevating, and this person starts to feel a false sense of security, although the person had to know the end of the line was coming. And I want to just give that background, but I also want to say something about the identity of FUB as far as the very well likelihood that he's on probation. So what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to repeat, I'm not going to replicate what this goblin did to me and so many other people, putting up false information, accusing people of harming children, accusing people of being child molesters, saying people have AIDS. Little did we know, hey, you can make your own decision about that. But it's so often you see subjects making all these wild claims about people they don't know. And as time goes on, you see more and more of these accusations and these claims that they're putting on other people that ends up being true about them. I mean, one of the most hardcore accusers of other people supposedly engaging in propriety and stealing and being perverts is this keeping it plain person. Come to find out his son is a registered sex offender and has a history of aggravated sexual abuse against minors, or a minor, I should say. People, think about it. When people are trying their hardest to rehash unsubstantiated, clearly false allegations, you know they are the ones who have something to hide. Always interesting how they're focusing, like FUB did, on other people's supposed criminal history. As if they're squeaky clean spring chickens, nothing they need to be addressing, never had any issues with the law, never even got a speeding ticket, supposedly. Squeaky clean is how FUB described himself. I never believed it. I didn't know what it was. Going back to the very beginning, I just couldn't put my finger on it. But I basically didn't respond to this person. I warned Lennon. I mean, people do what they're going to do. We tell things to each other all the time in these YouTube streets, here and behind the scenes. People end up making their own decisions. People end up saying, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. I think I'm going to go with that. Everybody's an adult here. This is an adult only space. People are going to make their decisions. But I never thought the person was legitimate. And the person utilized the fact that Lennon had shouted him out. He used that leverage to pseudo catapult himself into a position that he thought was invincible. The fake copyright strikes, claiming to have taken people's channels down. Guess how many channels this person has been taken down? I moved the channel because I didn't want to deal with this goblin. My computer person said, don't even deal with this situation. See, I'm not attached to a channel, like a channel itself, like the physical space. This space can be moved to another space. I don't have that attachment. I don't want to be monetized. I'm not making money on YouTube. I'm not doing any of that. So somebody coming at you as if what they think is important, they want to consider you think it's important. It's not important. I can just put up another channel. What's important is people are held accountable for their illegal activities. And it's by all accounts, this appears to be FUB, and I'm going to be doing my due diligence after this goblin falsely identified me multiple times. I will not in any way, shape, or form even think about going down that road. Although I believe it to be true, I'm going to double confirm, just like I give everybody the resource when I bring information. I drop links. I tell people where to find things. I let people know where I got the information. And I'm going to be reaching out to find out if this is indeed the same person. And I will be giving you all an update because I think it's important to recognize that there has been a lot of court case interventions and court decisions and even Supreme Court rulings. There have been state rulings about people under supervision of the court and what their free speech rights are, because they don't relinquish all of their free speech rights. They have some curtailment of those rights. They don't even allow you to say, what is your email address? They don't have to give their email address to probation, but they can be placed under a monitoring system where probation can see what they're doing. That's even better than getting an email address. They can have a device on your computer where they can see what you're doing, or they can have an order if you're on supervised probation that you can't be on the computer. So there's all different types of ways people can be monitored. And if this is indeed the person, FUB, I think that would be an issue that needs to be addressed. The irresponsibility and the illegal activities that have gone on social media. People have their own way of approaching things. Again, I'm going to double confirm this is the person. By all accounts, it certainly appears to be. This person has taken names that are closely or identical to mine and ran all kinds of crap. So I want to make sure I'm not doing, and it's not malicious. You think about the malicious nature, because M3 and grown men are not malicious about what they're doing. FUB was malicious about putting information out, calling CPS, making false reports. So think about the intent. There's no evil, malicious intent in posting this information in that live stream, but I'm going to show you an example of how I confirmed whether or not for certain it is FUB. And I'm going to come back and give you a report. One thing you must always keep in mind, if somebody is deliberately trying to get you to respond to them for the purposes of yanking your chain, getting you upset, harassing you, in most instances, it's best to simply ignore them. That's my approach. Everybody else gets to do what they want to do. That's their decision. And if you really think about it, there's only a select number of people that I've really made a point to respond to. All this other stuff that people are saying, you're going to run around here and chase these lies and this bullshit around. I'm not going to do that. But this is a case where a person has engaged in such a insurmountable degree of atrocities. This cannot be ignored, and it will not be ignored. More than one person has a vetted interest in finding out whether or not we're going to go boogieing down the road to make sure what the person has done has a degree of accountability attached to it. And I'm all for that. People, you know, I have much more coming your way. In the meantime, you know the drill. Buyer beware.